Hey guys, Eric at SideQuest Comics, and today I got another 10 for $10 diving challenge for you guys to go over. I was recently at a small comic show where they had a lot of dollar bin boxes, and I thought, hey, while I'm here, videoing me looking at some of the bigger books, why not do the challenge of the 10 for $10 comics? So while I was there videotaping, I figured I'd do two different types of content for you guys. And let's go to some of the raw video recording of me digging through those boxes, digging some dollar books out, and I'll show you what I got, and we'll come back and go over some of them.
That's gotta be the problem. I'm just kind of browsing. If I see something, I'll know. Okay. Thank you. I'll give you a That sounds good. Hey, what? Nice anytime work. I feel like how'd it go?
Jeez. Well, there's just a little bit of some video footage of me digging through the dollar boxes. Once again, this was a 10 for 10 challenge. I figure let's try and do it out and about. For the most part, I've done it at my local store, Jay's Comics. But while I was there, it was kind of a last minute, hey, I might as well do this. I'm looking through the dollar boxes. And this was at the K-Town Toy and Collectible Show. I do have another video coming soon of some of the other pickups that I found at that show. So, but this one I thought was, let's do a quick, cool video of the 10 for 10 challenge. And I found a bunch of books. I was pretty good. I stuck to 10. As always, I do have a couple honorable mentions that we'll go over real quick. But yeah, it's fun to, I think, not just limit yourself, but your challenge. I consider it a challenge of, instead of just buying all of these cool books that you see for one reason or another because they're only $1, let's try and challenge ourselves to stick to just the best of the the lot that you see while you're digging. Keep it to a certain number. I mean, it doesn't have to be 10. I have done 20 for 10. In some places lower the prices on sales, but I figured 10 books for $10, that's pretty good. It keeps me from just grabbing stuff willy-nilly. And I think it's a good guideline for you guys, too, to set something like that. I always, I'll admit, go over that 10 limit, but it does help rein me in where I'm not going crazy. So like I said, I have 10 books here to go over. I'm excited to show you guys these ones. These ones, some of them, let's say right now, some of them are a little rough. But the way I look at these dollar bin books is that if I can still read them, I can still enjoy them, right? So let's do this. Let's go ahead and go down to the table so we get a nice view of it. And we will go over the 10 books plus the 2 honorable mentions that I got here. I got 2. And we'll come back up and we'll talk a little bit more about them. So let's go down and go over these 10 books. All right, guys, we're going to start with the honorable mentions. I always have a couple that just don't make quite the top 10 for 10 cut. And of course, I just can't cut them, is what it is. But I've actually never showed the backside of this one. But this is one I've gotten before. So let me flip it. And it is, yes, it is the Spider-Man, Storm, and Power Man Battle Smokescreen. This was one I've gotten before. And I think I've showed on the channel. I've been kind of questing for a nice copy. This one was in the dollar bin. I kind of forgot it was in the pile, so I ended up getting it. Kind of cool. It came out 81 if I remember right, and I always pick these up because it's John Romita Jr. that did these. The other one that I got coming up here in a second is done by his dad, so let's go ahead and do that one. I'll throw it up here. This one is the special edition Spider-Man and the Hulk, or versus the Hulk, I think is what it comes up on the in the little CLZ app. But this one came out a year before the last one in 80. It was a freebie given out by the Chicago Tribune. And as I said, this was John Romita. So I got Romita and his son doing these. These were kind of just little freebie things they gave out. Like this one was a, say no to smoking type of thing. And this one was just a kind of special thing to give out to kids, as part of a Chicago Tribune promotion. And I think they did different stuff in different states like Texas and Cincinnati. So it's something to look for in your local areas. But yeah, I'm going to grab these 2 until I get a real nice copy, I think, eventually. All right, so jumping into the first of my 10 for 10 is this kind of rough copy, as you can see. I tried unrolling it. This one might be, and this is probably why I got this. It's going to be a practice comic for me for pressing and cleaning and all that kind of jazz. Mainly pressing, I think, because it's got a little bit of a tear here and some really bad folds there and a wicked curl. If I flip it, you can see how badly it's got a spine roll on it. But this one is Teen Titans number 32. This came out, oh my gosh, see, it's got a tear right there. Let's see, 1971 is when this came out. I believe that's Nick Cardy that did the cover, and I think this was a key when I was looking it up. It's a first appearance of Garnock. I think that's how you say his name. So yeah, like I said, it was just a pickup for practice on pressing. Okay, next up is this one. I always pick these up in the dollar bins. I see them in the dollar bins quite a bit, but this is Ghost number 27. This is like mid 70s. I want to say 74, but I always get these because I love these covers on them. Ghost was especially particular to skeletons. They always did skeletons. And once again, this is a Nick Cardy cover also. So I really dig his stuff that he did for DC in the 70s. So if I see him, especially on like the horror comics, I'm going to pick it up. So I'm going to keep rolling here. My next up here is OMAC number 2. I just recently got number 1. There's only like 8 issues for OMAC. This is, I'll admit it, it's Kirby. That's why I got it. It's Kirby Classic. Came out in the mid 70s. There was, I think, only 8 issues for OMAC. So I do have a trade for this, though. This is just me getting some of the single floppies. Okay, next up here we got Tarzan. So let's see. Why did I get this? Well, it's because number 29 Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle, Marvel's version of Tarzan. This is actually the last issue. And John Buscema started the series, and this one it's actually Sal, his brother Buscema, that finished the series off. And I think, just flipping through this real quick, this is basically Tarzan getting on a cruise ship and he's going home, back to the jungle. So there's some shenanigans on the boat with the wild animals, and yeah, so yeah, he finally, I think the boat sinks. They get on a lifeboat, but they do make it back home to Africa. So pretty cool series. Now I just got to fill in because I think I got 1 through 5, so now I got to get between 29 for Tarzan, Lord of the Jungle. So I got some kid comics here. I kind of couldn't resist it. It looks cute, little witch, wacky witch here, and this is number 14. I had to look this one up because these gold keys are always hard to figure out what issue is what. And this was like mid 70s. Did I look? I did look. Let's see, 1974. Just a fun little kid book. I don't know. I got this because I just don't want to look through it, kind of reminisce a little bit. I may end up just probably giving this to my nieces and nephews. That cartoons back then were a lot different than they are now, so they might enjoy Wacky Witch to read through. And I think what I like about these kid comics from back in the day is that they were reader friendly, so I think they'll enjoy it. And then, sticking with the kid theme, I'm going to throw this one right up over it. It's Popeye the Sailor Sea Stories. Took me a while to find this one because I was curious about it. So again, it's another gold key. Dell Publishing, or Weston, I think they're also known as. But this one, I think, is my oldest one in the pile. I had to look it up, 1962. And this one, I thought it was maybe something like a collection, but it's not. It's just a regular issue. And what I thought was neat is it literally looks like the old newspaper clippings from Popeye. I don't remember, actually, because, I mean, granted, this was older than me, probably. This was older than me, so I don't know for sure if this is how they all were. But it's interesting. So for $1, I'll pick it up. Once again, I'll probably end up giving it to the niece and nephew. I believe this is number 7 here, but I'm keeping in theme here with kid comics, I think. This one, I grabbed it impulse because of the cover artist. This is Sam Keith that did this in the early 90s. Toxic Crusaders #1. This is based on a TV cartoon. I don't really remember the cartoon. I remember action figures for this, but I don't remember the cartoon. Now, this comic does have issues. It's got some water stainage going on there and there. I'll try to clean it. I don't think it's worth much more than just a quick read through. It was $1. Like I said, this was an impulse buy. I saw the art, said, "Oh, that's Sam Keith," so I grabbed it right away. But I'll read it, and and the sad thing is, this is a key issue. It's the first appearance of the team, the Toxic Crusaders, and then it's a first appearance of these characters other than Toxie here. See if I did look it up. Let me look at my notes here. No Zone, Major Disaster, Junkyard, and Headbanger. I don't know which one's which, but those are the other characters. I looked them up real quick here, just so I could talk about them a little bit. The ever hard to resist 90s embossed platinum foil chromium shiny. Boy, I'm having a hard time to do that, and it's really reflecting. So this is Avengers, and it is number 369. Like I said, 90s. This came out in 93. I looked it up to see when this exactly came out, because I think at this time there's a couple different ones with this storyline that they were doing. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't resist it. It's a 90s shiny. I have to go see what other ones I can find. I think some of the early chromium ones that they did, like this foil, were keys. This one is not a key. It's just part 505, so it's the last one in the series. So yeah, couldn't resist it. It's a 90s shiny comic, and it does involve the X-Men. So of course, I'll get it then. Number 9 here, we're getting towards the end, is Machine Man. I've been picking these up in the dollar bins when I see them. And this one in particular, I got mainly because it's the cover's done by Steve Ditko, who, if you didn't know, did Spider-Man with Stan Lee for a long, long, long time. And I do believe this is a key of this villain. I had to look it up. It's Madam Menace, who later becomes Sunset Bane. I don't know who she is. I don't remember ever seeing her, to tell you the truth, outside of this. But yeah, number 17 is the issue number. This came out in the early 80s. Like I said, I grabbed it because I recognized Steve Ditko's artwork on it. Then lastly, we have number 10 here. Now, this one is an old one. This one, I looked up all the stats on this one because when I saw it, I knew this character. This is the original Captain Atom. So that's kind of why I got it. And this is also by Steve Ditko, did the cover for this one. This is Strange Suspense Stories. This is number 75 in the second volume. And the date on this is 1965. So this is it says it's a golden age. So this might be one of my few golden age ones I have. It's in rough shape, guys. I did get this one, another one, to play around with the press and see if I can get it flattened out. Now, you can't tell, but I ended up putting this in I think this is like a triple board. I put a board in the middle of the comic just to try to get it to lay flat, because this had such a curl. I mean, literally, like it was a curl, not just a roll, a curl. Like I could have put a pencil in between that curl. So yeah, I put a board in the middle of this, and then I double boarded it in the bag just so I could show you guys the whole book. If I hold it up closer here, you can see it does have a lot of issues. I mean, a lot of missing pieces, and yeah, but it was $1. I think it presents okay like this. I think it would be better if it gets a press. Maybe I'll try to, hopefully it'll flatten out a little bit for me. But yeah, I kind of couldn't resist this one. Cool character. I like the cover. I saw the potential in this. So hopefully I can get it to lay flatter for me. We'll see. If I do get it to look nicer, maybe I'll post a picture on Instagram, or maybe I'll bring it back in another video type of thing. So, but that was my 10 for 10, guys. Let's go ahead and go up and we will close this one out. Well, there you go, guys. There is the 10 for 10 challenge that I just recently did at the K-Town Toys and Collectible Show. They had dollar bins, so I figured let's do the challenge and, find some cool books in there. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these books, and, I explained why I got them. Sometimes I do impulsively just get books because of covers. Sometimes I recognize, maybe the artist in the cover or something like that. Sometimes especially of lately, like this one and some of these other ones, they're experiments, because I am starting to do the heat press and try to, bring these books that brought joy to somebody, to me, to, bring them back a little bit more, to preserve them a little bit more. So I'll admit that's a big reason for me grabbing some of these books. And sometimes I just can't help myself when I see these, especially something like this that was local. So let me know down below, you guys, what you think of these 10 for 10 books that I grabbed at the K-Town Toys and Collectible Show. Don't forget when you're down there to give me a thumbs up, a follow. Really appreciate the follow. And if you could share around, and of course, give me a comment. I like reading your guys' comments, what you think of these. Do you guys have these? Would you have picked these up? That's what I'm curious about. Did I waste my $1 on a really, really rough book? I don't know. I think it's kind of neat to get some of the history. And while you're at it, head over to Instagram. Give me a follow, a like. Smash that button at all the places, you guys. I appreciate it. I try to read everybody's comments and respond to them, whether it's on YouTube or Instagram. But that's all I got for this dollar 10 for 10 challenge dive, you guys. And until next time, when you're out there doing your own challenge and diving into those dollar bins, happy quested, and we'll talk to you next time.